right, welcome back. Let's round up today's top stories in the world of science with CTV science and tech expert Dan Riskin. Dan, good to see you.
All right, Dan, let's start here. Interesting one, talking about the use of technology to potentially hack your password. This is concerning.
It's concerning, but I also kind of love it because it's a really creative idea. The idea is to use a thermal camera to look at your keyboard, and after you type your password and take your hands away and wait 20 seconds, so it's presumably you put in your password and then walks away from your desk, somebody takes a picture with a thermal camera of your keyboard, and they can see which keys are warm, and based on how warm they are, using an artificial intelligence engine, they've trained it to hack passwords. And so 20 seconds after somebody types their password, it can guess the password with 86% accuracy, just the heat signature on the keyboard. If you wait 60 seconds, so it has to wait a whole minute before it gets a picture, it's still better than half. It can get more than half of passwords, 62%. So yeah, maybe concerning, but also kind of cool and awesome. And you know, this has only been done on keyboards, but presumably the same could go for an ATM or even your cell phone.
But you got to be carrying around a heat sort of seeking camera or glasses.
Right. Yeah. But the idea is if you were really like trying to get the bad guys, then you could set this up to catch them. You would never use it on somebody good. You would only use it on the bad guys.
Just like Batman.
Yeah, okay,
exactly.
That's really interesting stuff, Dan. I was the recent victim of some hacking, so I will have to...
Probably not this way because it's so cutting edge. It hasn't been used very much yet, but I'm sorry to hear you were hacked, and it is something all of us have to think about now.
For sure. You don't think it can happen to you until it does. All right, Dan, you know, everything that comes out of your mouth is interesting, so I don't care what we talk about next. How about you choose?
Oh, yeah, there you go. Okay, I didn't know where you were going with that. But yeah, so there's this new paper studying how people get along when somebody says, I don't care, you choose. And you think, so like, let's say that, you know, we're going to go for dinner and you guys say, Dan, what do you want to eat? And I say, I don't care, you choose. What I think I'm doing is being really easygoing and taking the stress away because you can choose whatever you want and I'll go with it, right? That sounds nice. But what really happens, according to this new study, is that in general, when people hear, I don't care, you choose, they don't believe it. They think that person has a hidden preference and now I have to guess it. And so what's happening is that they end up often choosing the one they like less in the hopes that it's the one that the other person was secretly wanting. And if you keep doing this over time, people tend to like you less. That's one of the things they found from this. I know, it's terrible because it seems like...
No wonder I have no friends.
Like you're such an easygoing person. But the lesson from this is next time somebody says, where do you want to get a drink or what do you want to do? Just throw an idea at them. At least start the conversation so you give some sense of preference so they don't have to guess.
All right, because it's weird how the reverse psychology reverses the friendship as well.
Totally.
Okay, Dan, so this is interesting. We have machine-assisted biking, but potentially machine-assisted walking could be coming?
Yeah. So if you've ever ridden an e-bike, you know what it feels like compared to riding a normal bicycle. It feels like somebody's helping push you along. Now, the technology to do this with boots has finally gotten to the point where you can do this out in the real world. This is out of Stanford University. It's a researcher I've been following for 20 years. He's a genius in his field. They look weird, I know, but when you wear these things, you tend to walk faster than normal and you use less energy than normal. So it's just like an e-bike, except for boots. So for a soldier that has to walk really far or a mail carrier or lots of other jobs where there's just tons of walking, this is going to be a thing that can reduce the strain. And basically the way it works is your Achilles tendon at the back of your foot is a spring that holds in steps, and this just gives a little twitch to that. It doesn't touch the tendon. It's behind your leg, but it pulls a little string there to give you an extra little kick in your step to make it a little easier to walk. And so as a result, these things weigh about 2.5 pounds each, and they make walking easier and faster.
I get some strong Forrest Gump vibes. Magic legs, you know?
Exactly. I get some RoboCop vibes from that. I bet that wouldn't be
well, it is. I mean, it is an exoskeleton. It's a bionic exoskeleton. That's exactly what it is. So if it gives you RoboCop vibes, you're bang on. Also Forrest Gump, but mostly RoboCop as far as I'm concerned.
Very cool stuff. All right, CTV science and tech expert Dan Riskin. Always a pleasure. Thanks, Dan.
Thanks, Dan.
Thank you.
Well, Laurent Duvernay-Tardif has been one of Canada's most successful athletes, making it all the way to the National Football League and being one of the highest paid players at his position. And then he made headlines as he left the league after winning the Super Bowl to lend a hand during the pandemic, of course, as his role as a doctor. So he's now out with his memoir. It's out today, Red Zone, from the offensive line to the front line of the pandemic. Laurent, thanks for joining us here on CP24 Breakfast this morning. So great to speak to you.
Thank you so much, Nick.
I have to ask you, Laurent, you know, I read your book about, you know, the training you put into football and then, of course, the preparation and studying and everything you did to taking the time to do what you do in the medical field here, you know, training to become a doctor. Where did you find the time to write this book?
Honestly, it's been a long process, you know, and I didn't write it myself. That's an important thing to say, but I put a lot of thoughts into it. I've been working on it for the past 2 years, and honestly, the whole idea kind of started after winning the Super Bowl. You know, the whole transition from winning the Super Bowl, which is the biggest sport event in the world, and then transitioning into working at the front line as an orderly for the whole, for the biggest part of COVID, and for me, it was an opportunity to talk about the importance of balance, but also to shine a light on all those people who work in long-term care facility in the medical field, and sacrifice so much through COVID. And we keep hearing about those news, those bad news, but there was also some lights, and I think it was important for me to talk about that, and like I said earlier, to talk about balance. For me, this book is about curiosity. It's about passion. It's about kind of like not being scared to go outside of the normal path and try to build kind of an agenda that suits yourself. And for me, it was football and medicine. And I'm pretty sure that balance kind of like helped me on both fields. Playing football for sure helped me on the medical field. And when you play in front of 85,000 people, you have the energy in the stadium, you have the crowd, and you got to make rational decision in stressful environment. And that for sure helped me in the medical field and vice versa.
So Laurent, it's fascinating because, your background, you acknowledge in your book, you really didn't really think that much even about football that much. You were athletic, but that wasn't necessarily what you wanted to do. But you learned it. You learned the game. You were a student of the game. And then you became a student of medicine and you became a student of that. How did football help you in the medical field and then vice versa?
I mean, for me, there's no doubt about it. When you play football, like I said earlier, you play in front of 85,000 people. There's a lot of stress and you got to be able to stay rational. You got to be able to make logical decision in a stressful environment. That's why you prepare for, every time you walk to the line of scrimmage. And for me, there's a lot of parallel between that and the emergency room. When you're stepping in an emergency room, well, you don't know exactly what you're going to be facing with, and you got to be rational. You have to have an algorithmic approach and see like airway, breathing, circulation, vital signs, and working as a team, and of course the team that you have on a football field is pretty different from the one you have on the medical world, but at the end of the day, they both kind of work the same, and talking about that for me was important.
And, Laurent, during the pandemic, there was this sort of shift in terms of the attention people gave to frontline healthcare workers. They became the superstars rather than, well, I would say people like you, but you are one of them as well. But you have a dual role. You're a superstar athlete, and then you become what's considered a superstar to so many people in sort of like helping lives, saving lives, and that kind of thing. What did that transition from the athletic side to the medical side in terms of the profile and priority people, gave to people in your profession? How did you deal with that? Because you'd already dealt with it on the football side.
Yeah, no, you're right. And I think for me, that's one of the reasons why I decided to write this book in the first place, and because I was not alone doing this. I was part of a movement. We remember like thousands of people, retired nurses and doctors went back to the front line and helped through COVID. There were people out there, and they've been dedicating their lives to taking care of our elderly and family member for the past 25 years. So it was important to shine a light on those people and talk about it, and I think as a professional athlete, you kind of have a responsibility to use the platform to promote something that you believe in. And for me, it's helped. And that's why it was important for me to use my platform to try to promote a greater message centered about health, but also about public health. And as we were going through the pandemic, I think it was important to do so.
Yeah, of course, you went to Harvard to study more about public health. Listen, Laurent, I wish we had more time to speak to you, but your passion, your dedication is remarkable. Great read, Red Zone, out today. Thanks so much for being here on CP24 Breakfast this morning.
Thank you so much. Have a good one.
Hey, good morning, Nick. Good morning, Jen. And you know what? I've got my lucky charm on today. I got to show something to you guys. Look at this. I'm wearing my old high school basketball shoes. I won the city champs with these shoes on, so I thought I'd wear it for this morning. Maybe, add a bit of luck to the arena tonight, because as you know, it's another season. The Raptors are back, home opener tonight against the Cavaliers. And again, we've got the same players coming back. You've got Scotty Barnes, you've got Pascal Siakam, you've got Fred VanVleet, and basically the team building up on those players. Plus, we also have a few new players to the roster as well. So it's going to be another exciting season. And I know one person who is super excited about tonight's game. And that, of course, is superfan Nav Bhatia. And he joins us now. Good morning, Nav.
Good morning. Good morning.
Good morning. Hey, listen, you are our lucky charm. You are honestly the reason why I think there's been so much attention to the Raptors all, these years. But what are your thoughts on tonight's game? You must be so excited.
It's the most exciting day for me. My 28th season beginning tonight is going to be, I'm excited for it, and I'm really excited. I have traveled with the team from Victoria this year, preseason games, to Montreal last weekend. And I tell you, I have never been that excited about a team. This team is the same team, same coaching staff, and a lot of young people and the new additions, which are all going to help us to be very competitive this season.
For sure. So you've had a chance to see the fans all across Canada. It really is Toronto's basketball team. So what have you seen so far in the preseason? What do you like from the team that we have this year?
I tell you one thing, I like everybody. They are gelling together very easily. They're very gelling together. And the two players who are really, I'm looking forward for is OG and Precious. They are going to be surprising everyone. And also Fred VanVleet is healthy. Your Pascal Siakam is going to be great this season. He has to be very good in order for us to be in the leader in the East. So I'm really excited about our new guy coming, Koloko. He's going to be good. But overall, our team is good. Our coaching staff has their hands on. We are basically the same championship team with the same players, same coaching, but some new additions and a lot of energy in the team this season.
Yeah, they're going to build on that continuity from last year's team. So for tonight, I know you're going to be here tonight. What can fans expect?
Well, the fan can expect a lot of, it's going to be a lot of like a playoff atmosphere, a lot of noise, just like in Montreal. It was like a playoff atmosphere. They're going to have a very exciting game between Cleveland, which is a good team, and us. So it's going to be a hell of a game tonight. All our fans have to continue supporting our Raptors, and we depend on our fans to give us the home court advantage.
And of course, I assume you're going to be wearing the championship ring tonight, Nav.
I'm already wearing. I got it at 6 in the morning, so I'm ready, just like you. I'm ready to be at this arena. I'm so excited. I can't wait to begin my 28th season.
Fantastic, Nav. Always nice chatting with you. Have fun tonight.
And I'll see you there tonight. And Raptors, let's go Raptors!
Yes, let's go Raptors. Thanks so much for that, Nav. And so as Nav mentioned, the team takes on Cleveland tonight. But here we go. Okay, so you need to tune in all morning because not only are we giving away a Raptors Fred VanVleet jersey like this one right here, but we're also giving away 2 tickets to tonight's game. The tickets are in the Bell Fan Deck, okay? And it's for tonight's game. So this is how you're going to win. You have to tune into all 4 segments this morning. We are going to give a Raptors player's name in each of those segments. When we get to the 4th one later this morning, then you can email contest@cp24.com, list the 4 players' names that I've announced this morning, and you have a chance to win tickets to tonight's game plus a Fred VanVleet jersey. So here we go. Here is the first player's name. It is Fred VanVleet. All right, I've got 3 more names that I'm going to give out this morning for your chance to win tickets as well as the jersey. Oh my goodness, guys, we have another season, a fresh new start. And you know what I love is that we're building on the continuity from last year's team. So you still have Fred VanVleet, OG Anunoby, Scotty Barnes, everyone's back in the lineup. And then of course we've got some fresh new players as well that's going to add some dimension to this year's roster. So we'll see how it goes. But as you know, they're taking on the Cleveland Cavaliers tonight. We had a chance to speak to Nav Bhatia, who has been going across Canada during the preseason, and he says the fans right across the country are so excited because it really is Canada's basketball team. As you know, they were out west and then they were in Montreal, and so the fans showed up. So again, tip-off is just after 7:30 tonight. You want to get here early because, as you know, they're going to do an amazing show just before tip-off. And guys, I don't know if you can see behind me, but there's T-shirts on the chairs, and they're super, super cool. So all the fans that come tonight are going to get these T-shirts.
It's nice, a big sea of white. You know, you mentioned that they're Canada's Team G, and we know that's the fact. But talk about CanCon on the team too. We know that the NBA is, it's an international game, more and more foreign players. But on this team, we've got a trio of Canadians: Boucher, Birch, and Banton, and big expectations from all three, especially like Banton. Apparently, Donald Banton from Toronto had an amazing offseason, really worked on his defense, so he'll be getting a lot more minutes. The same with Kem Birch. He's going to be injured, so he won't play the first game. Boucher is apparently doubtful for tonight, so we might not see him. But Boucher, Chris Boucher from Montreal, has developed his game. There is a lot of talk around the entire league that this guy's going to not just be, a good player off the bench and occasional starter, but a possible all-star this year. Like during the preseason, his play was incredible. His blocking and his rebounding has just taken another, he's elevated his game. So all those, sort of guys that are kind of secondary on the team behind the stars like Fred and Pascal are really looking good.
For sure, and this is what I love. Basketball has really grown here in Canada. We are producing more and more superstars, and so it's great that we have the three Canadians on the team. So we'll see how it goes, guys. But we have an amazing giveaway today. So, as you know, we are giving away a Fred VanVleet jersey similar to this one. And we are giving away 2 tickets to tonight's game in the Bell Fan Deck. So here's how you can win. We are announcing 4 players' names in each half hour. I announced one player's name the last half hour. Here's the next one, okay? It is OG Anunoby. And after my 8:30 hit, you have to write to contest@cp24.com, list the 4 players' names that I've announced all morning for your chance to win this incredible giveaway, which is 2 tickets to tonight's game, plus a Fred VanVleet jersey. The value, priceless. So again, this half hour, the player's name is OG Anunoby. And guys, I'm standing by because we will have a very special guest in the next little while. In the meantime, I'm courtside and I'm wearing my old high school shoes. I know they're green and white, and that's because I was a huge Larry Bird fan. This is before the Raptors franchise came into existence. So these are my high school shoes that I won our city champs with, and I kept them all these years. The Raptor is okay. I checked out his knee. He's fine. We're good. He'll be great for tonight's game, so you don't need to worry. But yes, we are all excited about tonight's home opener. As you know, the Raptors take on the Cleveland Cavaliers. Tip-off is just after 7:30. You want to come early. You don't want to miss anything because, as you know, they put on a great show. Joining me now is Teresa Resch. She is the Vice President of Basketball Operations. Good morning.
Good morning. So great to have you here. I love your jersey.
Oh, thank you. We're actually giving one of these away and 2 tickets to tonight's game.
Oh my God, that's amazing because literally this game has been sold out for months. So you got some lucky winners coming up then.
Okay, so you want to tune in because I'm giving away those items in just a moment. But Teresa, let's talk about tonight's game. We've seen the players during the preseason. Everyone looks like they're in fantastic shape and ready to go for another season.
Oh, they are ready to go. It's going to be so fun. There's always, whether you play recreational basketball and you're in 6th grade or you're like me and you play as an adult and, just for fun, you always have those butterflies on opening night and you can feel it. Like our team is ready, excited. We're just ready to go.
And what I love is you're building on the continuity from last year's team. You've got a lot of the returning players back. They all look like they're in phenomenal shape. And then you've got some new players added to the team this year.
Yeah, it's a great group, very cohesive. The names you know and love. You got Freddie VanVleet, Pascal Siakam, OG Anunoby. We have a Rookie of the Year, Scotty Barnes, returning for his 2nd season. Gary Trent, fan favorite. And then we got some new guys that you guys will be really excited about. Hollywood superstar Juancho Herman-Gomez will be joining us. Bo Cruz, for some of you who watched Hustle. And they're going to try to make a name, get some minutes. So we're excited to see the competition and amongst our team, but also across the court. Cleveland did a lot of off-season moves, so it's a great matchup for us on opening night.
Yeah, they did make some moves off-season. It's funny that you mentioned Juancho because I actually watched the movie and I said, this player is great. I wonder, who he plays with. And then you guys picked him up.
Yeah, it's great. I mean, we didn't pick him up because of his acting ability, but we're hoping to see him create some fireworks on the court this year as well.
For sure. And by adding him as well as some of the new players like Christian Koloko, are you hoping to add some more depth to the team then?
No, of course. We're always looking forward to growing and developing. We won a championship in 2019. We're looking to win another one. So that's always our ultimate goal. I mean, that's why we play the game. So we're always looking to get better. We're always looking to improve. And I think it was really exciting to see the team kind of come together during preseason, just across the country. You know, we got to play in Edmonton and Montreal, and then we also did training camp in Victoria. So it was great to get across Canada, really.
Yeah. So any advice for fans who are coming tonight? We always say come early, right? Because it's a sold out.
I would say, yeah, come early. We have an incredible show. We always put on a little extra special for opening night. I'm not going to give away any surprises, but I would say just come early and just come ready to cheer loud.
Okay, my last question. I see his chair. It's ready to go. Do you know if Drake is coming tonight?
Oh, I cannot give away those types of surprises. I cannot. But yes. I do have to say, like, we were voted, like, the NBA did a survey, and all the GMs said that the Raptors have the best home court advantage. So we're really counting on the fans to live up to the award that they got.
Yes. Yeah. You know why? Because we truly have the best fans.
I mean, it's a fact. It's literally been voted on. We won the award. Nobody can dispute it. We have the best fans in the NBA, and I look forward to welcoming them and seeing them all tonight.
Okay, sounds good. Thank you so much, Teresa. Nice meeting you.
Nice to meet you, too.
Thank you. And then, of course, as I mentioned, we have this incredible giveaway. As you can see, I'm wearing a Fred VanVleet jersey. We're not only giving away a jersey like this, but we're giving 2 tickets to tonight's game in the Bell Fan Deck. Okay, so what we're doing is every half hour we're naming a player, and in the next half hour you have to send an email to contest@cp24.com with all 4 players' names for your chance to win this incredible prize. This half hour, the player's name, Pascal Siakam, okay? There you go. We've got one more hit after this where we're going to name another player for your chance to win. In the meantime, guess who's joining me? Hey, it's the Raptor. And do we have any popcorn for tonight's game? Oh, you do? Okay, let's go. Let's go. All right, so we're here getting all pumped up for tonight's home opener. I'm getting a workout with the Raptor, and you can see his knee is fine. More coming up. Yes, I love when we shoot off the horns. It gets me all fired up, and you know who else is fired up for tonight's game? Akil Augustine with NBA TV Canada. Hi.
How's it going, G?
Good. You're wearing my favorite hoodie.
I'm glad. It's the right time to wear it.
It is. All right, so everyone's tuned in. They want to hear your analysis for tonight's game. What do you think of this year's lineup?
I think it's probably, you know, a good look for the Toronto Raptors that there's so much consistency. A lot of the guys have come back healthy, you know, because last year health was a big issue. Guys played a lot of minutes, so Fred VanVleet got some time to rest over the summer. Pascal's, you know, challenged himself to be the top 5 players. That's kind of the big story with him. And again, another chance for Scotty Barnes to grow and for us to see exactly what he's capable of.
Yeah, and you know what? I saw Scotty Barnes in the preseason. Wow, he's bigger and stronger. Like, he's been working out and getting ready for the season.
Yeah, one of the big things that people talked about this summer was Scotty playing the point guard. They wanted to see him ball control and lead this offense. And, you know, there were some moments where he struggled a bit in the preseason, but I think that's part of the learning curve of a young guy coming off his rookie season, being tasked with so much. We also saw him play, you know, the pick and roll big, and he excelled in that role. So I think that's what a lot of people are going to be interested in seeing this year is exactly what the ceiling is on Scotty Barnes, because, again, I call him Giannis Light. I think this kid's going to be so amazing because, first off, the body type, the skill set, and, again, you can bank on his energy, his smile, and he really brings it on defense. And he talked about that yesterday at the last practice, that, like, you know, as long as he's playing good defense, the game kind of comes to him.
Yeah, people forget this is only his second year in the NBA. Like, he's got many years ahead of him.
Yeah, he was born in the 2000s, which is intimidating for me. And the kid, you know, he's a peer with a lot of the better young players. Evan Mobley's a friend of his. They played on Team USA under 15. Jalen Green, of course, who was a high draft pick. So he's played with some really high-level players who are doing dirt in the NBA right now. So I think he's conditioned and ready for, you know, a shot at stardom in this league.
Okay, let's talk about some of the new players. How much depth are they going to add to this team?
Well, that's kind of the big thing for the Toronto Raptors team. I talked about the minutes earlier. 5 of the Toronto Raptors players, the starters, were top 14 in minutes. So guys like Otto Porter, Kem Birch, Chris Boucher, these guys are really important to, you know, spell those starters and give the team consistent minutes so they don't have to overload their players and allow them to play, you know, big minutes in the fourth quarter. Now, with that being said, of course, we know that Kem Birch, Chris Boucher, and Otto Porter all may not be able to be available tonight. A lot of hamstring issues with this group. But as the season wears on, we expect those guys to log major minutes in those breaks.
Okay, sounds good. And they take on the Cavaliers tonight. Let's see how that matchup goes tonight.
Ooh, the Cavs. They've improved tremendously with just that one trade. Of course, they had Darius Garland, the all-star in the backcourt. But now you add Donovan Mitchell, who's kind of like I would say just there's no 1A or 1B on that team. They're both superstars. They both could be all-stars this year. And their front court, Evan Mobley, Jarrett Allen. Evan Mobley is in the running for Rookie of the Year last year with Scotty Barnes. So it's a really good team. And then you look at the depth. Kevin Love, a guy we're familiar with from his days with the Cavs. So it should be interesting to see exactly how far this team goes. It's going to be a good game.
It's going to be a great game. Okay, the moment we've been waiting for. You know what we're doing. So we have an incredible giveaway. You have a chance to win a Fred VanVleet jersey like this, plus 2 tickets to tonight's game in the Bell Fan Deck. We've been giving out players' names all morning. This is the 4th name now. You need this. Send an email to contest@cp24.com with all 4 players' names for your chance to win this incredible prize. Okay, here we go. The 4th player's name, Chris Boucher. There you go. I've given out 4 players' names all morning. This is an incredible prize. It's a sold-out show.
Can I submit? I've got
Go
all 4.
for it. Contest@cp24.com, Akil, for your chance to win. Good luck, everyone. Have fun. Tip off at 7:30 tonight.
Ezra is a new hit horror comedy series on Out TV following the bloody entertaining exploits of a killer gay vampire who escaped centuries of kind of a torturous existence living in the shadows as an immortal among us humans to take a bite out of the real modern world. Let's take a look.
Are you moving it? Yeah. Is this stuff even real? Like, are there really ghosts? You're literally a mythological creature. You don't know?
I don't know everything.
And we welcome co-creators and co-stars of Ezra, Luke Hutchie and Chelsea Clark, a.k.a. Ezra Gray and Kylo Constantine. Did I get it right? Good morning, youngsters, and welcome to the show.
Thank you so much for having us.
Luke, let's start with you. This show, in my limited experience watching, kind of cobbles together just about everything I think people out there, anybody would want to in a show that's very entertaining. Was it kind of a slow burn? Is this something that both of you, put on the back burner? Or was it like, aha, eureka moment, we got to stop everything we're doing in our careers and make this?
Definitely not that one. I think the inception of the show and kind of how it became like tangible was just very much the right people, the right place, and the right time. I feel like if I tried to make the show or execute it at any other time, it wouldn't have been possible. It just really fell into place at the time it was supposed to be made.
Sometimes that's the best, isn't it? Like, I think the term for that is epiphenomenal, when things happen that aren't supposed to happen. They happen just because.
I love that.
Epiphenomenal. Yeah, new word. Chelsea, tell us a bit about your character, Kylo, how she sort of fits into the narrative arc of the show.
So Kylo was super fun because in the writing room, we were kind of trying to figure out what characters we all wanted to play. And my biggest thing was I have always really wanted to play a sultry vampire. And so basically we kind of just molded her character off of obviously the storyline and kind of building what we had, but then also, being able to throw in a few little things that I really wanted to do. So it was a lot of fun.
Now, Ezra comes into the world, right, looking to answer big questions about himself, his identity, everything, who or what he's gonna be eating to survive every day. Does he ever have second thoughts on, making that leap and plunge into our world? Because you were kind of a black sheep in the other, right? Sort of?
I think the gravitational pull for him to leave is I think he has a perception of what humankind is based off reality television and kind of the social media image we portray of ourselves, and I think that's the expectation he goes into of that perfect digital world. And obviously, when he gets there, that's not exactly what happens. But I do think that he's able to find himself and find people who he connects with there that he wasn't able to find back home.
So what was it like as co-creators as well of the show for both of you? What was it like pitching and then producing the show? Were there any unexpected obstacles or maybe even, pleasant surprises that didn't you expect?
I think the biggest pleasant surprise was how supportive everybody was of the show, and everybody who came together really just was there for it 100% and so wonderful and so supportive. And so it made creating it that much easier because obviously there's so many, you put out little fires every single day.
Right.
So to be able to know that the people that we were collaborating with were there 100% made everything just a lot easier.
And even just having the support of everyone who was on the show everyone wanting to do it, whether it be our friends like Priyanka, Zoe de Grand Maison, and Veronica Slikoska, to have all these people have our backs and believe in the project and just be willing to show up and do it made everything. Like, it was just very grateful for everyone's participation in the show.
You know, you're both kind of unicorns, right? By the way, Niagara Falls.
Oh my God.
Niagara Falls in Toronto, right?
Yes.
Like, if you're wondering where these youngsters come from.
And Maya represent.
Awesome. You know, ego and ambition are two words that are often, even in show business in this country, pejorative, right? Like, polite Canadians, we don't really, push ourselves. We don't explore and exploit ourselves. You do. And I think I applaud you for that. Is that in the DNA, or did you, collectively get together and thought, we're young, let's do this. Get one shot, man.
So I remember vividly, we were in our writing room and we were developing the show, and Luke had this one moment where we were all trying to figure out what was going on. We had hit a wall, and then he kind of just said, you know what, like, we're never gonna get this opportunity again. So like, let's just try our best and put all we have into this and really just see what comes of it. And I think I really held on to that because, I mean, you were right. Like, in what world would we be able to do something?
We were given like full carte blanche of the project, and we could just do whatever we want. And I think the biggest thing that we had when we were making the show was giving the representation that we never saw growing up in this country, and we wanted to represent Canada's diversity and population today.
Awesome.
And show like our country now, not as it was 20 years ago.
Well, Ezra's the show. Luke and Chelsea, thank you so much for coming on. You got a big hit in your hands, and I can see many big things in the future. You're now friends of the show, by the way.
Thank you so much.
Anytime, open invitation.
All right, are you struggling to pick your Halloween costumes for this year? Do you have an idea of what you want to be, but don't want to spend too much money on your outfit? Well, costume designer Leland Mitchell, who is known in the Toronto drag community and well beyond with his stunning cosplay, joins us now on how you can elevate your 2022 costumes. Good morning, Leland.
Good morning.
I'm so excited to have you here on set. Last year we partnered with you for the first time. I mean, I'd heard of you, your reputation preceded you, and when we got an opportunity to work with you for last year's show, you really took it to the next level. So I have to ask you about your inspiration for getting into sort of costume design and who you are working with these days, because you've got some big new news, right?
Amazing, yeah. I mean, I've been sewing since like junior high school. I remember like being in high school, taking home ec, everyone let's make a pillow or a tote bag, and I ended up making like little Muppet shorts or something. So I've always just had this kind of like weird eclectic taste for costumes and like fun fashion designs. But it's always kind of run in my family. My family runs a dry cleaner just kind of at Queen and Broadview since the 50s, and we've always been mending and sewing and altering clothing kind of since then, so it's always been in my blood.
And then you connected to the drag community and Canada's Drag Race and Avril Lavigne. So what are some of the big highlights of that?
My God, I mean, I'm so grateful to have the drag community behind me and have all of these amazing kind of queer performers like support me and show off all my artwork. And so now recently I've just started sewing for Avril Lavigne, and to even see this like super mega star wearing my stuff at the Junos or on tour, it's completely mind-blowing.
So this may be the last time we'll ever get a chance to work with you, because your trajectory is going to be beyond our ability to do so. So we wanted to bring you on, one, because you're fabulous.
Thank you.
Two, because a lot of people are preparing their costume, and I know it's getting down to the wire, but you're going to give us a feel on how people can elevate their costume, even if they go out and just buy, a typical one, and you're like, okay, that's fun, but I want to give it my own pizzazz. We've got a bit of a fashion show, and you've brought in some models.
Totally.
So give me a little feel as we introduce your models on what you've done and how people can do it on their own. Harley Quinn is first.
So this Harley Quinn costume is super accurate. This would probably be like the most kind of high end you could do. This was us sourcing all the pieces, finding all of these kind of specific fabrics and stuff like that. You can go to your local party store and find a lot of stuff that's really similar to this, but if you put a little bit of love into it, like it literally looks like the film.
Online, or how do you source these extra little bits?
I mean, it's always research, right? Watch the movie, look and see what they're wearing, kind of search the interwebs. There's a lot of like blogs and stuff that will even post kind of specific designers or specifically what they're wearing.
A little late for me to learn how to sew at this point, with a week till Halloween. But you can find those pieces if you just.
Those pieces are definitely findable. You just got to do a little bit of research,
Okay.
Yeah.
You're looking great, and you want to give a shout out to your model too?
This is Ponytail Patricia.
Oh,
one of the best icons in the city.
Cool.
What a legend.
Looking fierce. Absolutely. Well, let's go to Two-Face now. Give me a feel for what you've done here.
Now this is another icon. This is Boa from Canada's Drag Race. She's serving this incredible Two-Face look. This is just another really quick, simple idea. I had this obviously concept to make an animated kind of Two-Face look, and so we got two suits, sliced them down the center, and just re-sewed them back together, you know?
Wow.
Anyone could do this. This is something very simple, and it still really seems elevated, you know?
Anyone but me, but you would give me a tutorial, right? If I wanted to do this. I probably could. I'd have to figure out how to work a sewing machine first, because that's a lot of hand stitching, I think. But that's great. And a bit of face makeup does.
A bit of face makeup, and just so much confidence and fun on Halloween.
Okay, thank you, Boa. And now we've got Joker.
Oh.
Who's this?
So this was another concept we had. We went to the party store and sourced out just one of these regular kind of store-bought costumes and elevated it by like dyeing it, adding some safety pins, doing some hand stitching, just to give that extra level of detail. And this is Connor McAlden. He's another great costume designer in the city.
Oh, awesome.
And yeah, he's modeling it there. He looks incredible.
And it doesn't take that much to take it from your traditional where everyone looks the same, just putting your own little sense on it, right?
Oh, totally.
And I love your kind of tribute to The Simpsons, right?
Oh, yeah, you know.
Oh, we picked
just
that out.
A $90 Chanel suit.
Of course. Well, thank you so much, Liam. Thank you to our models as well.
Thanks, guys.
And just a little bit of a teaser on Halloween Monday. You've partnered with us again. We are not going to tell you what you are going to put. Me, G, Lisa. We're also, George is going to be in a special attire, and it's all going to be Leland Mitchell. Highest quality you could get for Halloween. I'm very excited for it. Thank you very much. And this is the busiest time of the year for you, so get cracking, Leland.
Get cracking. I know, I'm going to actually run back to my sewing machine now.
Okay, high five. I love
Thanks.
it. Okay.